And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Michael Johnson coming to you live from the Coca-Cola Space Science Center here in sunny Columbus, Georgia. We are in the process now of getting our telescopes all set up and on the sun. I'm going to go ahead and to start while we still kind of do some last minute technical tweaks. I'm going to go ahead and put live telescope feeds coming in from NASA. Right now, they're showing some images coming in from Mexico that's actually showing the eclipse in progress. So what you're going to see is the sun as it is in Mexico. And then I will be back with you when we get our images live coming in from our telescopes in Arkansas and here in Columbus, Georgia. And again, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Michael Johnson coming to you live from the Coca-Cola Space Science Center here in Columbus, Georgia, where we have our eclipse is underway in Columbus. If you take a look, we have just a little bit of the moon coming in there from the bottom right hand view of your image. That's coming to you live from the West Rock Observatory here in Columbus, Georgia. We're glad that you all could join us today. For us, we're going to be getting to about 80% coverage. So, about 80% of the sun is going to be covered by the time we get to maximum eclipse, which happens at about 3:02. If you have any questions or anything, feel free to anything up there on either Facebook, or if you're watching our stream from YouTube, our YouTube stream, put something there in the chat. We're monitoring that. I can answer some of those there on air. We still have some people here in the back that are having a party. So we're trying to make sure they know that there are things going on. So if you hear me cut out for a moment, that's all we're doing. So I got a complaint about some low volumes there, so I'm increasing that volume. You guys let me know if you can hear me or not. Negative. So you can see the moon coming in to view here. Again, my name is Michael Johnson, and coming to you live from the windowless studios of the CCSSC Coca-Cola Space Science Center here in Columbus, Georgia, part of Columbus State University. I actually, this is my view is the same as yours here, even though we have a bright sunny day outside. For those of you that are maybe seeing a little bit of buffering, it seems like the internet's a little busy with an event right now, and I'm not quite sure what it is. I'm of course kidding with that. It's our the now that the eclipses really starting to get going, a lot of people are starting to come online in various places to view. If you have a question, feel free to ask it in our chat on either YouTube or on our Facebook there.
The only thing is we don't want people disturbing Mike. No observatory?
Absolutely no observatory. We're waiting for our. We have another stream. Dr. Williams is in Arkansas, currently working on getting some images there. Unfortunately, because of some clouds in her area, she's kind of had to move around a little bit. So she's kind of out in the middle of nowhere with a backup internet connection. So we'll try to get some of that in there. If not, we'll be able to show you a bit about what we record a little bit later. So we'll have some of that. So I'm hoping to show you some totality here. Again, we're going to come up with about 80% here in Columbus, Georgia. We have a crowd on our lawn where we have telescopes out, some solar telescopes. For those of you that are in the local area in Columbus, and you have your eclipse classes and you're waiting for the exact time to go out, the best time to go out is about 3 o'clock, where we have a maximum at 3:02, and then right after that, about a couple minutes later, it just you'll see it start to kind of disappear. The moon will kind of continue to raise up with the sun. However, if you have eclipse glasses, no matter where you got them, here's a little safety tip for you. Before you put them on, especially on younger children or anything like that, do me a favor and look through them away from the sun and just kind of make sure there's no light filtering through. If you see specks of light or anything like that coming through your bright spots, coming kind of look like pinholes or something like that coming through your glasses, please don't use those. That means that they're damaged, and while you're enjoying the eclipse, someone may actually have a little bit of an issue with that. So again, as you're getting ready to put on your eclipse glasses, make sure you look through them first real quick, just to make sure that before you kind of look at the sun. In Columbus, I would suggest that as you get to maximum, that you take short views of the sun, because it's still 20% uncovered. So when you're looking through it, it can still seem kind of bright, even at when it's 80% covered. I would also want to challenge anybody out there that's listening to look at maybe as we get closer to maximum, look at the shadows on leaves and places like that. You might see an effect where you can actually see the eclipse through the leaves and through the trees. It's something that's I have never been able to see, but of course most eclipses I'm here with the I'm here with the windowless studio most of our events like this. So I rely on everybody else to tell me what they see. So we do have question on Facebook on just how long will it last. Here in Columbus, it's going to last all the way until about 4:20-ish, somewhere about that time. So it started at about 1:30, and then about 4 almost 4:30, if you want to kind of round it. So that's looking at about 3 hours, which is actually pretty quick. If you can remember back, just a few years ago, we had our lunar eclipse, which is when the Earth passes in between the sun and the moon. The eclipse took about 6 to 7 hours. Solar eclipses are a little faster than that. That being that the object that's blocking the sun is just the moon on this side, so it's a lot smaller than the Earth is, and so you get different times with that. If you've seen some of the videos that they show online, I know some of the TV stations locally have been showing some of the neat animations that show how fast the shadow goes across the United States. That's actually pretty cool, and something that you can see. Something that would be interesting is to be able to time it and be able to say, okay, well, the shadow was moving at so many miles per hour across the Earth. I don't quite have that technology here with me right now, but we'll be taking a look at that. Yeah, there's there is some smoke here in Columbus, Georgia. That's due to some controlled prescribed burns to make sure that our fire season doesn't go too badly. Unfortunately, we can't reschedule the eclipse. So sometimes there's an immovable force of government with the immovable force of astronomy, and they clash. Someone, Rolanda Hercules, in 2017, I saw the eclipse through the trees. I have the pictures. I put the glasses on my camera lens. That's a good way to do that. Is to be able to do that, especially on smaller, like your cell phone and stuff like that. However, don't get into the habit of taking pictures of the sun without protection on your phone or on your camera. Also, that goes for human eyes too. I said it once before. I will say it again. Before you go out with your eclipse glasses, please take a moment and just kind of look through them without looking straight into the sun, and just kind of see if you see any bright points of light or like pinholes or anything coming through the eclipse glasses. If they are, please do not use them at all. Don't pass them off to someone else or do anything like that. Go ahead and just don't use those. Share someone else's that doesn't. There's a lot of people that have the 2017 eclipse glasses still. With those, I would especially say please check before, because sometimes what happens is someone puts it into a drawer and forgets about it, then remembers them in the next eclipse, and they bring them out and they're scratched or something like that. Just want to make sure that your eyes get through this eclipse like everything else. One of the things that have been going around is the strange animal behaviors that are that some people see with eclipses, and animals just kind of act like it's nighttime. In totality, I've heard where roosters will roost, and then when the sun comes back in a few minutes, they actually will announce the sunrise. When I did get to visit an eclipse back in 2013, we were out in the wetlands of Australia, and the animals did calm down, and then they came right back up. Fortunately, you don't normally have to worry about an animal staring up at the sky, at the sun, because they just don't do that anyways. I have a puppy at home that could care less what happens in the sky, even though I'm excited to tell her what's going on. Yeah, Gary Lee Dunn, good good recommendation to look at those shadows, and even better to it's most prominent on pavement. That's a good tip. I have never quite seen those yet. Maybe I'll sneak outside today and try to do that. So if you're out there enjoying our webcast, we are the Coca-Cola Space Science Center here in Columbus, Georgia, part of Columbus State University. My name is Michael Johnson, and we're coming to you live. You're seeing a live image of our sun coming in from our West Rock Observatory. A little bit about the image. Right now, you're seeing it in a kind of a graystone or grayscale, kind of black and white. The reason why we do that is because that camera is very sensitive and can pick up some of those details on the sun. If you take a look, there are some darker spots kind of there in the middle. Dark spots on the sun we commonly call sunspots. Astronomers are never quite the best at naming things and probably shouldn't be in charge of some of those. But those are sunspots on the sun, and what we'll do later is we'll actually do what we call processing the image. And so we'll actually kind of add some color to it and make it look a little bit more photogenic. But right now we do everything in black and white first, and can go back and do that later. The scope itself filters out 99.99% of the light that's coming in, and only allows in a very, very small portion of light called a wavelength of light. And we look at something called hydrogen alpha. So what that is that's essentially hydrogen in the sun giving off light. And we're able to see what looks like, it kind of looks like the surface of the sun. Not quite correct, because the sun really doesn't have a surface. But we'll sometimes call that a surface or call that the photosphere. If you see some other live images and maybe see something in purple, that's calcium. That's a different element that they'll look through. And different telescopes like that will give us scientists different information about what's going on in the sun, being able to help predict some of the solar weather that we're finding affects us here on Earth pretty greatly. We always kind of knew that, but as the instruments get better, so does the science, and so does the understanding of what goes on. We're a little less than an hour away from our maximum eclipse here in Columbus, Georgia, which is about 80%. If you have any questions, feel free to let us know on either YouTube or Facebook. We have people that are monitoring both. And if I don't answer, then we'll get someone else there. If you don't have a question and just want to let us know where you're from, hey, that'll work. It's always nice to kind of know who you're talking to as things are happening. We'll continue to show you here the live views from here in Columbus. I'm going to take a quick break and be right back. So we've had a question coming in from our audience in our theater, which is what is an annular eclipse and how is it different? Well, there are two types of eclipses where the moon covers or almost covers the entire sun. And the first one is a total eclipse, which is what we're experiencing today in Texas and the central United States, all the way up through the Northeast and in through Canada. And that's where the moon completely covers the sun. Well, sometimes in an eclipse, the moon is a little bit further away from us. So the moon doesn't quite have the exact same distance from us all the time. And sometimes you get what's called an annular eclipse, which is where when the moon covers it, instead of having it totally covered, it actually leaves a ring of the sun around it. I have experienced the annular eclipse, and it is a sight to behold. But most people will tell you that totality is the place to be because of of how dark it gets, where it gets dark enough. It doesn't quite get that dark in an annular eclipse. The annular eclipse, it was more like a LED light was dimmed, and then it kind of came back on, but it never got fully dark. With a total eclipse, if you're in the path of totality, it is you can actually see stars in the sky, and if you have bright planets can be next to it, things like that. So still some pretty good places there. That's a great question. So we had another question here. What from our YouTube group? What is a sunspot? So I was talking about sunspots earlier, which were those dark areas on the sun. We have one going on. The moon's getting close to it towards the center. But what that is essentially a cooler spot on the sun. Through some magnetic fields that I won't get too technical about, but basically what happens is these magnetic fields get twisted up, and it actually becomes a little bit cooler on that area of the sun. So everything around it is very, very hot, and a cooler spot comes up as these dark sunspots. You may notice here in a moment some clouds going by. We like those, actually. That kind of reminds you that we are coming to you live, and that sometimes clouds do get in the way, but we're experiencing an excellent one right now. And again, for those of you just joining us, my name is Michael Johnson. I'm from the Coca-Cola Space Science Center here in Columbus, Georgia, part of Columbus State University. Kaylee Durham asked, when is it safe to take off the glasses and look in the sky? Kaylee, I actually don't know where you're located. If you were located here in Columbus, Georgia, it will not be safe at all to take off the glasses and look. If you're in totality, if you're in the path where the sun completely covers the moon completely covers the sun, there we go. You can take off your glasses when at maximum eclipse, but don't look at the sky with the sun. Look around and see what's kind of around you. The reason why we tell you this is that at some point that totality is going to end, And if you're not prepared, you could be looking at the sun when it starts to peek out from behind the moon. So we always suggest that if you're looking at the sun, it's really you always want to have your glasses on. However, if you're in totality and it gets completely dark around you, go ahead and take them off. Look around, because what you'll also notice is it's looking like the sun rises in a different area of the sky. It's like you're kind of used to in the 2017, you're used to the sun rising in the east and setting in the west. Well, the sky kind of looked like it was going from west to east because that's the way the eclipse is going. So that was pretty cool. So what time should we start seeing the crescent shadows? You can actually start looking now. However, it's the more eclipsed it gets, the better that will be. The maximum here in Columbus, Georgia is at 3:02, so somewhere around that 3 o'clock time frame, you could probably start looking for those shadows to be able to see some of that. And when you do find them, please let us know. I'd like to know about when you see those also. All right, Kaylee came back and said she is in Columbus. So, yeah, I would wait and not take off your glasses and stare at the sun. If you're going to, that's when you look for your shadows and stuff like that. So, in the chat on either YouTube or on Facebook, let me know how many eclipses people have seen. Is this your first? Is this your second? Third? Fourth? Be interesting to see how many people have seen what. I know there was a lot of eclipse chasers. That's what we call people that traveled every single one of them that traveled this weekend. There was the weather forecast for a lot of the areas was kind of iffy and for clouds and stuff. So it'd be pretty interesting to see where people finally ended up. So the question is, when can we see the next solar eclipse from North America? The next total solar eclipse in North America is in 2045. Now, for some of our younger audiences, that will probably be the second one. I hope to be retired by then. However, the 2045 eclipse comes through southwest Georgia. So you'll actually won't have to travel very far in order to see totality. So I might come out of retirement for that. That could probably be fun. Yeah, a lot of people saying that this is their second one, second, third. It's pretty cool that it's pretty addictive. Once you see one, you kind of want to go see another one. We have just over a half hour until we get to maximum here in Columbus, Georgia, which is about 3:02. So if you're listening in about a half hour or so, I would transfer me over to your phone, so you don't have to go away from us. But if that would be a good time to go outside, even if you don't have eclipse glasses. Now, you definitely don't stare up into the sky without eclipse glasses. Do not do that. However, as we get closer to maximum, go out and experience it. Take a look around. Try to find those shadows. Try to see, how does everything look overall? Does it get really dark? Especially for those of you that are on your second one, where you may have seen the 2017 eclipse and see it from Columbus, which was a little over. I don't have that at the top of my head right now. It was much more. There was much more of the sun eclipse, a percentage of the sun eclipsed in 2017, and it got fairly dark. Go out and see if you can compare it, and see if you can see the difference of the of it. I have people saying that it's definitely getting darker outside in Columbus, and I can also tell you that that's extremely true, because if you look at our live feed, you notice that the sun is not quite as bright as it used to be. And that's because it truly is getting dimmer. It's not a it's not like a figment of your imagination, or I'm not sitting here playing around with exposure settings or any kind of settings on the video. This is the way it's coming in, and it's truly starting to get less bright. So I've had a request on YouTube to speed up the chat, and I have to admit, it's on slow mode because I'm pretty slow. Let me see if I can do something about that. It won't let me do it after the fact. I'll learn that for next time there, and I'll make sure that you guys can keep up and all that. So again, I want to welcome everybody that's joining us. We do have people coming in and out. You can join us here on Facebook, or we are on YouTube. Good to see everybody from both on there. My name is Michael Johnson, and I'm coming to you live from the Coca-Cola Space Science Center here in downtown Columbus, Georgia. We're part of Columbus State University, where we currently have nice clear skies for the eclipse. We will be getting our maximum eclipse here in about 32 minutes at 3:02, where about 80% of the moon, or of the sun, will be covered by the moon. Got to get that straight. For those of you that are on Facebook or YouTube, feel free to type there in the chat. I'm monitoring that and answering questions as we go, and just kind of enjoying the eclipse here. I wanted to thank our students and volunteers that we have down here. I want to do that before maximum comes out, we do have a lot of different students and volunteers here helping out with telescopes and on our lawn and all that, and it is greatly appreciated. I want to special thanks to our space grant students, Troy Hudson and Lexi Hollis. They're upstairs in the dome giving us our fantastic views of the eclipse going on right now. So a question of what time should we go out and see the shadows? That is, as it gets more and more eclipsed, those shadows will start to become more and more apparent. And so really at about close to 3 o'clock, go out there and take a look through shadows, especially with leaves, shadows through trees and stuff like that. See if you can see that. If you can, take a picture and post it up on Facebook, tag us with it. We'd love to be able to see it and kind of share that with everybody. So for those of you that are maybe coming to us for the first time and just kind of noticing that who we are a science center that is run here by our university, Columbus State University, and that was easy for me to say. We do have a gallery with exhibits. We do have space flown artifacts. We have a planetarium down here, which the planetarium just got a new upgrade. So if you haven't been by in a while, I would suggest stopping by and checking out a show. If you are coming through, maybe you you know of a family member that is on Fort Moore and will be coming through the area. Be sure to look us up. We are open Monday through Saturday. Monday through Friday we're 10 to 4, and Saturday it's 10:30 to 5. Love to see you down there and down here. If you're local to the area, check out our website at ccssc.org. We have something, if you like this kind of event, we also have what's called astronomy nights, where we go out to some of the local state parks and here at the Science Center and bring out telescopes. And one of our resident astronomers, Dr. Rose Williams, takes you through a tour of what's going on in the night sky. And then after that, you get to look through our telescopes and see what's going on. If you're just finding our YouTube account, be sure to like that and subscribe. We're making some improvements to our images in our observing system to be able to bring a little bit more live images to you. During the day, it's kind of easy because we have this big bright thing called the sun. During night, it's a little bit harder, but we're getting there. Oh, now they're starting. Now our planetarium group is starting to say jokes, and of course, I'll let them. So if you're on their YouTube channel, So for those of you that are not on YouTube, maybe on Facebook, what did the moon say to the sun during an eclipse? Just passing through. I don't give you the jokes. I just pass them on. So please don't boo me for that. So a lot of people asking how. Oh man, the jokes are going bad. So people are asking about when they can see shadows. I've actually just got an image texted to me from someone here on site. You're actually able to start to see them now. So if you go outside now, you should be able to see that. We've come to the part of the webcast, ladies and gentlemen, where we're telling jokes. So if you're just joining us, welcome. My name is Michael Johnson. I'm with the Coca-Cola Space Science Center here in Columbus, Georgia. We are watching live images coming in from the West Rock Observatory here at the Coca-Cola Space Science Center. We hope you're enjoying the live feed right now. So for those of you asking about the shadows, we're starting to get shadows here at the Space Science Center. So this is a good time if you want to go out there and enjoy some of the eclipse. Please remember that if you do not have eclipse glasses, please do not stare up at the sun. Please look around and enjoy the view of the shadows and of just the overall dimming effect that we have going on with the moon passing in front of the sun. If you have eclipse glasses, remember to take a test look real quick, especially before you put them on young children that maybe don't know when things can be a little bright. As it doesn't take much to do damage to the eye, so we ask that you please do that and go out and enjoy. If you're on mobile, don't forget to take me with you, so that way you can do that. Pamela is asking about where do I send some pictures. You can send it to us, either tag us in Facebook, or if you're on YouTube and don't want to do that, you can send us pictures to info@ccsssc.org. That's info@ccsssc.org. And we'll put them up on Facebook for you there. Starting a little bit later on this evening and tomorrow, when I'm sure we will all need to recover a little bit. We're about 17 minutes away from totality, maybe a little bit more than that. 19. Math was difficult for me. And as we're getting up into totality here, go ahead and let us know where you're coming in from. I'd also be interested to know, I know that Muskogee County School District is in session right now, and they're about ready to release. So I was wondering how many teachers actually have this going on in their classroom. That would be kind of neat to see. All right, it's great to see some classes out there. Some students have already left, but welcome to the Coca-Cola Space Science Center webcast. Good to have you on here. We're about 16 minutes away from our totality. Well, we definitely thank you all for sharing links and getting friends involved. Someone is, what time is it supposed to happen? If you're here in Columbus, Georgia, we are getting our maximum here at 3:02 p.m. Eastern. So here in just about 15 minutes or so. And you definitely won't be able to notice here in Columbus. You won't be able to notice anything more than just probably it's getting dim outside. It gets real dim, just because there's still about 20% of the sun shining through. So you still have that. Oh, there goes a contrail from a jet. The sun starts to get to the portion of this part of the day where we do have jets that'll fly by, and so sometimes you can get a double eclipse. So, a question coming in from our crowd in the Omnisphere Theater, which is also streaming us live here uh, at the Coca-Cola Space Science Center, is, will we see the diamond ring? And the answer to that is no. I'm sorry. We'll be about 80% covered. So basically, what you're going to see from now on is the moon almost moving straight up, continuing to take a bite out of the sun here until about 3:02. At 3:02, it starts to get its maximum eclipse, and will start to get a little bit larger. However, if you're waiting to go outside or anything, now is a good time to go out there to take a look for those shadows. Now that we've really started to get into the maximum portion of the eclipse for Columbus, Georgia, and be able to see some of those. If you grab pictures of those, tag us on Facebook and let us know, or you can send it to us at info at CCSSC.org for Coca-Cola Space Science Center.org. And we will feature those as time goes on here, just to kind of reflect back on what's going on. However, we're looking at about 11 minutes till our maximum eclipse in Columbus, Georgia. If you like what you're seeing, don't forget to like us on Facebook or to subscribe to us on YouTube. And we'll get we're going to be doing some more um, webcasts and things, and be able to update people as time goes on. I can't always guarantee an eclipse. However, I can guarantee some cool astronomy stuff. That's the official term. You can really kind of see that moon covering up the sun. So for those of you that are in classrooms, remember that the moon is passing in between us and the sun, and so that's why it blocks there. It just so happens that the moon is in the right place in space between us and the sun that allows us to completely cover the sun. If it's a little bit further away from us, which sometimes in the orbit it doesn't go, it isn't always the exact same. We get what's called an annular eclipse. That's where you see the ring around the moon. If it's closer than this, that could allow for longer totality, longer times in totality. I think what I remember seeing was that in the maximum portion of the maximum eclipse, it was about 4 minutes and 20 seconds, 4 minutes and 22 seconds, something of like that of totality. So that basically that's where the moon will cover the sun completely, and that's where it gets completely dark. Outside, you can see stars. Animals decide that it's time for them to go to sleep. Yes, unfortunately, eclipses on demand are not quite a thing we can do yet. Actually, we're not even close. However, I have had a few people ask during the course of the week if we could move it to a little bit better time next time. And my answer is unfortunately no. For anybody that's watching that is in the lawn of the Coca-Cola Space Science Center here in Columbus, Georgia, thank you for coming out. And thank you all for joining us as we reach our maximum eclipse here in Columbus, Georgia. We're getting into the last about 4 minutes until we are at maximum eclipse. If you have your eclipse glasses, this is the time to test them out before you put them on. Make sure there's no pinholes, and go ahead and put them on. Take a look. If you're here in Columbus, short looks. Don't quite stare at it too long. But it's about at its maximum eclipse now. If you do not have eclipse glasses and you're outside, take a look at shadows and be able to see if maybe, especially shadows through trees, and see if on the ground you can see the crescent there. That crescent that you see, the light portion of it will be the sun, the dark portion is the moon. If you're here in Columbus, it should be dimmer outside. However, if you're just coming in from just going outside, it may not seem like it because it's kind of a relative brightness. It's now 3 o'clock. We are 2 minutes away from our maximum eclipse. If you're at home listening to this, there is a delay sometimes between when real time and when you hear this. So check your watches. Make sure you go out at right at about 3:02 to be able to see the maximum eclipse, which is at 80%, which means 80% of the sun will be covered, and we'll have about 20% that is visible. Kind of looks like the sun is a fingernail on my screen. So a question of what would happen if we only had this much of the sun available all the time. You know, at that point, if everything else, it would be this would for us it would seem like a normal day. It would probably be cooler. There are especially during the 2017 eclipse, there's a lot of good weather data where they could see the actual temperature drop during eclipses. So it does get a little cooler. Sometimes you get a little bit clearing with clouds. If it was like that all the time, it would kind of be a little bit like that, I guess. That's a good question. All right, and we're coming up to about 3:02. So here we are at maximum eclipse. This is the maximum amount of sun that will be covered here in Columbus, Georgia. If you think there are people probably in, I would say middle, it's probably still in Texas, if not getting into Arkansas, of the totality. I think Arkansas was a little bit later than us. but we would definitely be experiencing totality now. So I'm going to give you a brief break to go outside and take a look while I do the exact same thing. I will be with you back in a few minutes after totality, after our max eclipse here in Columbus, Georgia. All right, I'm back from outside. Sorry, I didn't mean to scare anybody if I did. Uh, my name's Michael Johnson. I am from the Coca-Cola Space Science Center here in Columbus, Georgia, where we have just passed our maximum eclipse for this eclipse today at 80%. As you can see now, it's kind of looks like the thumbnail has moved over to the right some. I took a moment there to go outside and take a look. Now, I did not see any of the shadows, but that's because I wasn't in a place that I could see through like tree shadows or anything like that. However, I did notice that it looked like it was even. It was a lot later in the evening, like the sun had already set, as opposed to it being completely bright at the day. And that was a little surprising. And why that's surprising is everything, all eclipses are a little different. Everything, unless you're completely in totality, where you're going to go and have 100% coverage. The atmosphere, the how much of the sun is covered is always a little bit different if you're in the same spot, and so this one was more like it was in the evening. I when I stepped outside, I could feel that it was cooler than what it had been earlier today. So there was definitely that temperature change, which was pretty cool actually. So we have that. We're going to be with you for a little bit longer, and we're going to let the sun move off the sun. But I do want to thank our volunteers, our students that are here, our Georgia Space Grant students that are up in the dome right now, giving us these fantastic live views of the eclipse. And want to remind you that if you haven't already, either subscribe to our subscribe to our YouTube channel, or hit that like and follow for YouTube. We'd love to have you along with us as we continue to webcast this eclipse and for other events as they come up. Want to thank all the teachers that are out there that are showing us live in the classroom, or just sitting back and enjoying the feed themselves. We definitely appreciate you doing that. I stepped outside for a moment. If you're familiar with the Columbus Coca-Cola Space Science Center, you know that we have a lawn area outside that that we use for activities and such, and there is not a spot available for people to stand up in out there. I want to thank everybody that came out to see that, because that always makes it a little bit special when we can share it with folks that are like-minded. All right, as you can tell, the moon is now passing on the other side of the moon, of the sun, I'm sorry. And we're starting to get a little bit brighter out there. You can still see your shadows with the crescent sun if you look through your trees there and look at the ground, especially on pavement, be able to see some things there. So places now in central United States, probably going up towards so Arkansas, the Tennessee, the Ohio. Those areas are probably either getting really close to totality or are in totality now, as the moon continues to make its way across the sun there. If you see some of the darkening of the sun here, we actually have some clouds in our area and some haze, some smoke. So that's kind of what's kind of blocking some of that. All right, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Michael Johnson with the Coca-Cola Space Science Center. Just letting you know that we have passed our maximum eclipse here in Columbus, Georgia. So you can see that the moon is now moving away from the sun. It's getting brighter outside, and we're gonna some of the events going on here at the Science Center are going to be wrapping up. So it's going to get very loud in the studio. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sign off as far as just talking. I want to thank everyone for joining us, and I want to especially thank all of our volunteers and our students that helped out bringing this webcast to you and helping out on the lawn and being able to do everything with it. I'm not going to quit the feed. I'm going to let the feed run until the moon leaves the sun. But if you have any questions or anything, please leave us a message. We'll get right with that. And want to, again, thank you all for joining us today. And we will see you next time.